have a green dot. So go ahead and keep seated, a green dot. There we go. I didn't have full face on. Awesome. Well, welcome, guys. How many of you guys have done Flamingo Mingle before? Got one expert. We've got some people up here. Perfect. Well, obviously today's a little bit different, so there are a couple more things that I want to go through. And of course, we've got newbies here, so we want to make sure that you guys know exactly what to expect. My name's Casey. I'm part of the Education Department. I'm going to be talking all about flamingos during this experience. We are going to be letting our flamingos out onto our pathway to go mingle with our guests. So there are a bunch of buckets here full of food. Flamingos love to snack. They're kind of like people with their coffee. They want to get a little bit of food in them before they're ready to come over and mingle with everyone. So once they do, they use their bills to go through your hair and your clothes. They're checking you out. They're exploring. It doesn't hurt. It kind of tickles. But you guys are seated exactly where we want you to. We're trying to maintain social distancing during this experience. So anywhere with the green dots are good. If you'd like to exit at any point, especially folks on the benches, go ahead and give us a big wave. And some of our animal care staff will be able to come out and just escort you out. That way everybody feels safe. The flamingos feel like you're safe in their zone. You feel safe too. So yeah, just remember that when you're done, you just give us a big wave. We'll be happy to help you out. When the flamingos come up and mingle with you, remember you can't go and touch the flamingos. They can touch you. They're not like cats and dogs. They don't really like to be pet. We need to have our masks on during this experience. When you do exit outside the circle, you can wash your hands over in the veggie aviary. Keep nice and clean. I also want to give a special shout out because today is Olivia's birthday. Happy birthday. And she's going to be the one opening up the gate today. So Olivia, if you're ready, we can go ahead and open that on up. All right, here come our birds. So here at the Indianapolis Zoo, we have two different species of flamingos. So you're seeing them come out right now. They're really easy to tell apart because they have two different color feathers. So all flamingos, of course, they're pink, right? But different species have different colorations. So most of the ones that you see out right now are kind of a beautiful hot pink, kind of salmon color. And these guys are Caribbean flamingos. So they're actually the only flamingos you're going to find in the United States. Naturally, other than the ones in the zoo and other than the plastic ones you might find in your front yard. But we do have one brave Chilean flamingo with us today. Can anybody spot our Chilean flamingo? Go ahead and point them out. Yeah, right there. So most of our Chilean flamingos are pretty shy. They prefer to stay in their exhibit. They were raised by their flamingo parents, so they are most comfortable around other flamingos. And our Caribbean flamingos were more raised by their animal care staff, so they feel very comfortable around new people. They like to explore. But that one Chilean flamingo has made some friends with the Caribbean.
These are
and kind of taking cues from his buddy, saying like, okay, it's all right to come out and at least eat some snacks around these people. Flamingos are incredibly social animals. They live in flocks of up to 10,000 birds. That is a lot of animals. We have 35 here at the zoo. That's already a lot of birds. But imagine 10,000 of these animals. That's more than really your brain can wrap around. But even though they live in these really big flocks, each flamingo is their own individual. They all have their own personalities, their own preferences, and they make friends and relationships within their flock to make sure that they can maintain these special friendships and find mates. So a lot of that is done via communication. So if you guys check out our flamingos, I mean, you're hearing them. They're very loud. They're constantly communicating with each other. One of the ways they do that is via vocalization.
So little.
We're doing lots of vocalization right now. They also communicate a lot via body language. So I want you guys to be on the lookout. Use your looking eyes. Use some observation skills. There's some different body language you might see from our flamingos. A lot of flamingos' communication has to do with either dominance, trying to say, hey, I'm in charge. There you go, right there. You got some communication. A lot of it's also flirting, basically showing, hey, look how big I am. Look how cool I look. You can see those feathers are raised right there. They're going to use those feathers in that body language. the flamingos eat all of this krill, it goes to their feathers. And it turns on that really bright pink coloration. And what that communicates to the other flamingos is that that flamingo is super healthy. If they're getting everything they need to eat, they must be doing something right? And then they must be very healthy. And so that's a really good way to attract a mate. So flamingos, they make friendships with a bunch of different birds. That seems to be based on personality. It doesn't really matter how healthy they are, just like you guys might make friendships with other people that you get along with based on your personality. That's the same thing for flamingos. They normally make 2 or 3 friends within that flock, and they'll spend most of their time with them. They also will make nemesis within the flock as well. So they do know certain flamingos that they're not their best friends, that they prefer to stay away from. But they also need to worry about making sure that they're making relationships that are long-lasting and find a boyfriend or girlfriend bird within the flock. So really, all of those beautiful feathers are a good way to communicate to the other birds that they are really healthy and might make a really good mommy or daddy flamingo, and so it helps them choose their mate. And when birds are really young, they like to get basically really gussied up. You can think about the first date for humans. We like to put on maybe some mascara. Guys like to take a shower. You dress up really nicely. That is what flamingos do as well. They want to make sure that they're preening themselves. They want to make sure that their feathers are in good order. You're seeing some of that wing spreading there. You can see those black feathers underneath. And those black feathers are actually their flight feathers. Flamingos are good flyers. They just need a little bit of a runway to be able to perform.
I don't know if you've seen it, but I was getting my hair preened.
Middle schoolers, how you go on like a group date together to make it less awkward. Flamingos basically go on one giant group date, and they actually engage in basically a flash mob. So all of that body language ends up being synchronized. So you might see the flamingos wave their heads back and forth together, all wings spread at the same time. So they basically synchronize like a flash mob, and they do all these dance moves all together to try and impress the other flamingos. So there's a wing spread right there, showing off how big they are. And so within that flock, these younger birds will choose their mates. But the older birds won't really engage in this big flash mob because they've already chosen their mates. Flamingos will sometimes mate for life. They at least pair off for a couple years oftentimes. And those older birds, they don't have to quite show off for each other the same way. They're already in sync. I kind of think of it like my boyfriend and I are fine doing a date of just watching Netflix on the couch. That's good spending time together.
I think this will be the
older
entire
flamingos
video,
are. They don't
guys.
need to be anything fancy. And they'll go off and hang out up by themselves. And when it's the breeding season, they'll actually both construct the nest together. So in some birds, it's all mom's job. But from flamingos, they have both mom and dad help out in building that nest and incubating their eggs. So they built that nest out of mud. They build it up kind of like a volcano. And they will lay their egg at the top of that volcano. And both birds will take turns sitting on the egg. And if they've got friends within the group, they'll allow them to get closer to their nest than birds that they don't care for as much. And their friends will actually, sometimes if they haven't paired off, help them raise their chick as well. Now once their chick has reached a couple weeks old, they'll actually take the chick out of the nest and combine them with the other birds in the flock. And just like it takes a village to raise a human child, it takes a flock to raise a flamingo. So all the adult birds will help guard those younger flamingos. They'll help make sure that they're protected from predators. The parents will still feed their own chicks, but they've got a little bit of help and a good way for them to start socializing and making those friends really, really young. So just like flamingos are forming their relationships lifelong, we really want you guys to form relationships lifelong with our animals. So when you come to the zoo, our hope is things like Flamingo Mingle will bring you closer to these animals and give you experiences, spending time with them, making memories, so you can learn to appreciate them a little bit more. Flamingos are not birds that we get to interact with in our daily lives outside of the zoo. In Indiana, there really aren't any flamingos flying around you can spend time with. But we hope when you come here, you'll be able to come and meet our flamingos. And each of our birds is an individual. So you can take a look at their legs. They've got a number on there that identifies them as one individual bird. And maybe next time, if you find someone that you seem to connect with, you can come back and Connect again with that bird. So I want to encourage you guys today when you're going around the zoo to spend a little bit of time with our animals, get to know them a little bit more, make an animal friend, and definitely ask questions of any of our people in Khaki or Green. We always love to share stories about our animals. We want you guys to be able to get to know them as well as we do. Because we know spending time helps us gain an appreciation for wildlife. And that's our goal here at the zoo, is to connect you to wild things and wild places that you might not get to see in your everyday life. So when you come here to the zoo, your money goes to their care. It also goes towards supporting conservation causes all over the world. We're going to have our flamingos out for just a couple more minutes here. Take a look at the bird right in front of you and how he's using his bill. Sorry, she. Her head's on her left leg, so she's a lady. Oh, that's catnip. Some of the birds have numbers. Some of the birds actually have feet. So that's catnip right there. And when she uses her bill like that, she's actually using her tongue to pump that bill open and close, to suck in all the water, suck in all the good yummy things. And then she's got little filter-like structures in her bill that help filter the water out and keep all the good stuff inside. And when they move their mouths, you guys can imagine if you put your fingers on your jaw, when you talk, your bottom jaw moves. For flamingos, it's actually the opposite. Their top jaw moves. Alright guys, we're going to start wrapping up our Flamingo Mingle. I want to thank you guys so much for coming out to the zoo today. I'm going to be sticking around to answer any questions you guys might have about the flamingos or anything else going on today that can help make your day at the zoo extra special. But if we don't see you, have a great day at the Indianapolis Zoo.
And we're done. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed the Flamingo Mingle at the Indianapolis Zoo. There will be another video next week. Bye.